ladies and gentlemen and llamas and, you know, fill in the blank something else. I don't know. Exciting day. I know this doesn't look like, this looks like an Amazon box, right? But it's not an Amazon box. And that's kind of weird, but it's also not in a way, and we'll talk about that. We have here, courtesy of Jason, this is the box he meant to send, not the quilting box. We have here the first box on this channel we're going to look at from Survival Preppers, Colorado. Now, this is exactly how the box showed up from UPS. And there's a couple ways. I know we want to get right into the box. Did I forget to say, hi guys, I'm back? Because that is my trigger in the video to know to start putting the Patreon slide up and everything. Okay, there we go. But here's the way we're going to look at this, because it came and we were like, what? It can look very unprofessional that the box came like this is the box. But on the other hand, follow me on this, stick with me. It could also mean that we're dealing with a true small business, not a big old company. And with small businesses, you usually have it run by people who really care what they're doing. So they don't have they're not spending a whole lot of money on fancy packaging and all that stuff. This is just what I'm thinking looking at the box, okay? I have not looked at it yet. It is still all sealed up, except for this, which is holding on literally by a thread. But so you know, I'm choosing to look at this packaging as these guys work from like a small business trying to put out a good product, and they're saving money where they can because they're not a big huge company. So that's my mindset. You guys in the comments can feel free to say what you would think of this arriving at your home if you ordered it. But we're gonna get into it. You guys remember this? You guys remember this? Memory lane? If you don't remember, oh, well, I don't know. First knife I ever did. First knife I ever did. All right, I just figured it was there. I was just, oh wow, it needs a little TLC, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Boy, this guy's old. So we're gonna get into the box and we're gonna see what we've got. It's a heavy box, I'll tell you. What is the weight on this thing? Now, I don't know if this is a welcome box or if it's just a standard box. The weight on this is 8 pounds. We've got 8 pounds worth of stuff here. So again, so Jason, who has, in case you don't follow the channel like way back or whatever, he has sent for us the Smoky Mountain Knife Works Army box when that was still a thing. He sent us the gear box. He sent us the what was it? It was a one that we didn't like, survival box, which actually didn't turn out to be that exciting. So this is a packing slip. This is the Elite box, so that's their biggest one. Okay, good. I have Jason's address right here, so I have it available to send, because I keep having to ask him for his address again, like so I could send the funny mistake quilting box to him for his wife. But I have that. So I see a couple things that look interesting. I see something that I'm not so thrilled about, but we're going to reserve all judgment until we get everything out of the box and we're ready to look at it. So there's quite a few items jam-packed into this box. This is heavy. This has got to be like a little grill, Baofeng radios, maybe, yeah. So I don't see anything that says like, hey, welcome, or none of that. So I can't tell you if this is a welcome box or just a standard box for the month, but I don't know where it should go. Oh, it is Stanley. I was going to say, gee, if only that said Stanley, but it does say Stanley, but it's not the fancy one. Whatever, those people paying crazy money for a Stanley cup. Huh, Stanley, I still have my good old Walmart brand that keeps ice cold for 3 days straight. And they're paying $50 for one that just because it says Stanley. All right, so there's no actual packing list involved either. So we're just going to look at items. And I guess we'll start right here, because this is right there. If this was a welcome box, it would kind of be cool, because starting with a little pack would be nice. So this is by Stealth Angel. I reviewed a Stealth Angel little mini survival kit before, way years and years ago on the channel. I was not happy with it. No, I was, but I didn't know as much then. I was purely all military and nothing else then, and I was not entirely. I thought it was much better than it was, looking from a civilian gear point of view. So we're gonna take this off. That comes with it, and I never understood this. So either put your webbing, or give me the Velcro patch panel, but don't give me a Velcro patch panel that stuff's barely gonna stick to. Like, figure out your shit and what you intend to do there. I don't know. So I think this is a type of bag we've seen before. I'm not going to say this is the exact bag we've seen before because I can't tell for sure, but this has Stealth Angel's branding on it. American owned and operated, Los Angeles, California. So it's a mini pack. It's a small pack. At least it's not a sling bag. It does have 2 straps, and they've got a decent amount of padding. Definitely has that new nylon smell that I love so much. We've got a sternum strap on it, which is cool. We've got quick release drop buckles. We've got a waist strap, and we've got some D-rings, and we've got some webbing to attach stuff to on the straps. All right. We've got some cinching straps on there to tighten it all down. Let's take a look. How often, I don't know, when I see new packs, a lot of times the zipper is like halfway, and it's like halfway closed, halfway not, and you've got to, is this going to be a good example? Yeah, it's like the zipper doesn't know, is it open or closed or what's it's doing, so you got to like go all the way so they get it. I do that a lot, but, so let's open it. So we do have some really serious weatherproofing on the outer areas, which is cool. I like that, very nice. On the inside, we've got a little bit of organization, pens and, I don't know, loose change, small pieces of paper, other tools you want to put in there. It's got some nice depth, and you can see it widens out, so you can put some decent pieces in there. And it opens almost 180 degrees, not quite, but you can clearly get your hands in there to find whatever you're looking for. The smaller pouch on top, just as wide, but of course small. I have a pocket, sorry, couldn't figure out the word I was trying to say. I have a pocket just about this size, a little bit longer, but this kind of shape on my Voodoo Tactical pack. So no complaints. I'm not going to say anything negative. It's just scaled down to fit this pack. So here we go with this again on the zippers. I don't fault them. I see it all the time on gear that I'm like new out of the package. I don't know if that's a function of zippers and how it's put together or what the hell that is. Again, we've got the really heavy rubber coating for the weatherproofing on the outside. And you can see how wide this section comes out. That's about, what, 2.5 inches wide. And deep pocket, again, almost 180 degree opening. Small little organization. No padding or anything in between these, but that's just saying. Not criticizing again. And then the main pack. Okay, well, these are good. See, if this has a little gap in it, up at the top, that's cool because this has 2 zippers. So, you know, if there's a little, I'm sorry, the whole zipper thing confuses me when it's like that. So we don't have the weatherproofing over here because we've got all the weatherproofing on the outside. That's cool, but we do have some nice padding in between this section and this section. So if you've got something, you got some padding on the back too. So if you've got something you want to keep a little safer, you can put it in there. We've got a big mesh pocket right here. Here we go again with this. This is just a little separator. This does open like virtually 180 degrees. It's about the same, I'd say 2-inch, 2.5 inch, if it were to sit flat and open up for you. You've got the weatherproofing on the bottom, the nice rubberized coating. So I'd say it'd make a day pack, 24-hour bag, you know, or a little hiking bag. I don't know how much you would cram into this. Maybe if you're really good, you can make it a 48-hour bag. And is this what I think it is? Is this a hydration? No, it's a nothing. It's a nothing. There's nothing under there. Why is there... I was thinking maybe a hydration tube would come out of here, or even like headphones or something. There's absolutely nothing under this elastic. Maybe you could tuck something into that elastic. Great. Up here, Velcro. I mean, you could put a hydration bladder in there, and then you could have it come up. And you could, I mean, you could easily have it come up, run over here, and then down and secure it through there. Or you could just use this for paperwork documents, keep it safe and secure. I'm thinking hydration right there, because there's really no way for it to exit from inside the closed pack. Not that there's a good place to put it besides just right there. And I mean, this looks like it should be a little breathable. I don't know. But, and of course, you've got some Pals webbing / Molly attachments on the outside, on the sides, both sides, and on the front. So, construction looks pretty good. I don't know anything about how they do it, or if they buy it from, because we've seen similar bags to this. I don't know. I'm not saying it's exactly the same bag to anything we've seen before, because I haven't had it before. But it's a nice fine nylon, a heavyweight nylon. Stitching all looks pretty good around there. I'm not noticing any kind of cheap looking defects or anything. So it looks like a decent pack to put some stuff in, like I said, for about 24-hour bag, or light travel bag, or just a good hike through the woods bag. So this is pretty cool. I can get behind this. I'm trying to see if there's a price for how much he paid for this. Gonna have to ask him, I guess. Or I could just look it up online, because I don't remember. Let's go next with whatever this is. What is this? Does it say in the box? I don't know, I got nothing. Oh, it's a Pioneer wrench. Is that what we call them? I can't remember. We have seen these from some other companies. It doesn't even have a name on there, seriously? So, you want to build, you want to craft some stuff. So you can use this. Basically, you hammer this through. You make your posts out of wood, and then this drills into another piece of wood so that you can put the post through it. And so this is built all together. This is really nice because this starts the hole really nice, and you can position it precisely where you want it instead of just trying to guess this really large gouge and put it in there. And it does take a little bit of effort. You can also, put another stick you find in here to give you the twisting leverage. But these things are kind of cool. I've used one just to test one. So I don't have a whole lot of real life experience, say, building a fence or whatever, but they're really useful for building shelters. This one looks like actually it would need to be sharpened up a little bit, because you can see there's a very flat edge on there. And most of these that I've seen, when I say most, I've seen like 3 that have come through my hands, but they have more of a chamfered edge that come to not like a paper cutting point, paper cutting bevel, but a much finer edge than this one. That's something you could take care of, though. This says 25. It's got a little 25 stamped in it. I don't know. I mean, wow. Oh no, this is danger of suffocation. Keep this in plastic bags, but this has no plastic bag. I mean, you could brute force. You could still mallet this through a piece of wood, but yeah, I mean, I would probably take a very coarse file and just sharpen up that edge a little bit to make it a little better. But this is definitely a useful tool to have. And look up some videos on how to use these things. And they do some really cool stuff for you. And I probably downplayed it. I probably have not described it exactly right, and it probably has better use than I've described, but they are good to have. So I like that. The arc lighter, I poo-pooed this guy a little bit. Maybe not necessarily. Wow, so they got to deal with Stealth Angel, huh? This is all Stealth Angel brand stuff. Stealth Angel is a company that sells a bunch of things on their own website. I've seen it. Now, do you remember recently we had the plasma, the arc lighter, and I did a video testing a regular old lighter versus the plasma arc lighter. It looked exactly like this almost. And these things are electric and they are rechargeable. There's the USB, micro USB recharger, and they're cool because, oh, sorry, this one. I'll put the linky poopy doodah right there where we're testing plasma lighters and showing how even with this standard fire starting stuff, they can work really well. I did not think they were going to work as well as they did, because you do have to get the heat, the thing you want to burn to there's no heat that comes off it. You have to get it right into the plasma arc right there. But they were actually pretty effective. The big down draw is that it has to be charged. And there's really there's nothing that identifies what your charge level is on it. Some of the fancier ones might have LED indicators to let you know. This one and the one that I tested don't. So you kind of don't know until it's done, until it's out. Now, we do these days have all these solar power banks and all that stuff. So if you have that and you're out in the woods, out in the field somewhere, I don't want to say it's not a big deal, but you have options. Just like with a regular lighter, you could carry, if you've got a Zippo, you could carry lighter fuel. But there's a reason that a lot of survival kits have things like matches, but at the same time, when you run out of matches, you're out of matches. But also, a flint and steel, a ferro rod and a scraper. Yeah, you could say that when that's used up, it's used up, but it's gonna take a lot longer to be used up than something like this. These still are really effective fire starting devices, though, and they're kind of fun to use. And it comes with a lanyard and the USB charging cable underneath the accessories below. So I can't be mad at this either. It's a pretty cool, nifty toy, and it actually, it does good stuff for us. And it was a very interesting, fun time seeing how it worked compared to just regular flame matches, things like that. What is next? Let's take a look at this. This one has the plastic bag. I wish they would give you a packing list to say exactly what they intended it as. I'm willing to bet this goes with this. This looks like a radio pouch. So it's Molly Pals compatible. And then this goes over whatever it is. And then this, let's get into the Baofeng is usually communications radio stuff. And you're going to find people online all the time that say that if you hit the transmit button on one of these radios, that the FCC is going to show up to your door. First of all, the FCC doesn't arrest people. All right, brace yourselves, guys. I'm about to get into a really long and unnecessarily complicated rant about communications and radios and frequencies. And it's as bad as me going on a medical rant, because communications played a big part of my military stuff. Feel free to skip it. I'll put a time code. I don't know. It might be interesting to some of you. I just figured I'd prepare you now. Sorry. They can give you a citation. They can fine you. I don't want to get into the whole license thing. I don't have like a ham license or one of those at all. And now it used to just be like you had your ham license or nothing, and there's this and CBs, and now there's like another like an FMGRS or there's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not going to get into it, and I'm not going to touch it because I don't know well enough to speak on it. But VHF, UHF, FM transceiver. So the thing is, the UHF frequency spectrum is so huge, and the VHF spectrum then adds on to that. There are some absolutely restricted frequencies no one is allowed to transmit on, and there are some frequencies like bands. We say a band meaning a series of frequencies. The frequency, this is going to be not charged, right? It is charged.
Frequency mode.
The frequency is that exact number there, 145.525. That is a frequency. If we were to say 145.525 to 438.500, that's a frequency band. We're designating that band of frequencies. So when we say what frequency band does a radio operate in, it's the highest frequency to the lowest frequency. When we talk about frequency bands, VHF has a frequency band, UHF has a frequency band, LF, low frequency, has a frequency band, HF, high frequency, has a frequency band. UHF stands for ultra high frequency, VF is very high frequency, HF is high frequency, LF is low frequency. There's VLF, very low frequency. That's how airplanes talk to submarines under the water. All because the different frequencies propagate through air and different materials differently. Anyway, UHF is basically your cell phone operates. It's a UHF band radio. It's a transceiver. The architecture is different. It's full duplex. You can talk while they talk. And your cell phone, your UHF band transceiver, operates by making calls, but it is no different than a UHF radio that bounces a signal to a tower, and then it, like a repeater, and it's so. I don't want to get in. Like I said, I shouldn't even get into all this comm stuff. But just to give you an idea, so ground-to-ground units usually use VHF, military-wise. Air-to-air. For closer range, they use VHF. UHF is a little bit longer range. With an HF radio set, if you know what you're doing, you can bounce signals off the ionosphere in the globe and talk around the world. Your signal quality is not as good as a line of sight. Line of sight, VHF or UHF, means my antenna could see your antenna. And if there's anything obstructing that in the way, that signal doesn't get through. SATCOM sounds really fancy, but what SATCOM essentially is a UHF signal that goes up to a satellite. The satellite then takes that and then broadcasts it down on a different UHF signal. You have uplinks and downlink signals, but essentially UHF is one of the most used communication bands in the world. And in the Air Force, we use UHF radios for ground-to-air, air-to-ground, called Gator radios. Okay. I know I'm getting a little bit too much into this. My point is there are several frequencies that are completely restricted and several bands that are restricted because they are used for different purposes that we would never be allowed to talk on. Some radios will just blank those out. You're not allowed to get on them. The radios will not go to those frequencies. Some let you go on them. The whole thing about the FCC and licensing and all this is that you're supposed to know the proper protocols and all that, and all those frequencies that you can broadcast on and you can't broadcast on, and who belongs to what. That's the whole point of taking those tests and taking those lessons. And if you were to broadcast on any of the designated frequencies that are not open use, free use for everybody, you can get a fine. That is all premised on someone at the FCC is listening, and more important, triangulating where you are at that moment in time, and that they can then figure out who you are based on that. I'm not telling you to do it or not do it. I'm saying unless you're at a home station and you're there all the time broadcasting on the same frequencies, nobody's going to knock on your door to give you a ticket, a $200 ticket from the FCC. The most complicated job in the U.S. military, the hardest, stupidest job, is not special operations, is not flying a plane, is not anything like that. It is the guy or gal or llama known as the spectrum manager, because their job is to figure out what frequency or frequency bands anything that transmits, not just radios, jammers especially, transceivers in airplanes for like IFF codes, radars, anything that emits electromagnetic radiation. They have to figure out on a base, at a fob, in a whole theater of operation, what everybody has, what that device is capable, the whole frequency band is capable of operating on, figure out who's interfering with who, and how to slice up the EM rainbow so that everybody can operate, nobody's stepping on anybody else, and nobody is jamming anybody else. Oh, and by the way, what are the bad guys using so that we don't bleed over to their stuff so that they can't hear what we're doing? And fuck that job. I have seen people that in 3 months as the frequency manager, the spectrum manager, look like Beetlejuice at the end of that job. It is terrible. I would never want to do that job. They are a living hell. And like, just to give you an example, and then I'll shut up about radios, I promise. To give you an example, back in the early 2000s, there was a ground system called Warlock that the Army would mount on Humvees or other vehicles going on a convoy, and its whole purpose was to jam the UHF broadcasts from cell phones, because that's how bad guys were activating IEDs on the roadside. They'd call the cell phone, and the receiver on the IED would blow up. So rightfully so, the Army did not want that happening. They would use the Warlock anytime they went outside the wire. If they did not turn that off when they came back into a fob, or if there was an Air Force radio, one of them was the GRC 171, which I talked on, the frequencies of the Warlock would absolutely jam out the frequencies on the GRC 171. So if I'm trying to talk to a pilot to tell them, hey, please come drop a bomb on these bad guys who might be trying to attack us, and at the same time the Warlock was transmitting to block UHF frequencies, well, now we've got a problem. The Army guys, who honestly didn't get frequency management training or anything like that, the only thing they care about is, well, let's make sure these IEDs can't detonate. And if I was an Army dude on the ground, I wouldn't care about much either. So where is the benefit to them to turning the switch off ever in their life? As long as the truck is on, it's radiating, and why even risk forgetting to turn it on again? You know what I mean? So there were many times where if we were anywhere in the vicinity of any Army vehicle with Warlock on, even if we were trying to call somebody overhead for convoy, follow, or escort, or to put somebody overhead to maybe drop a bomb on somebody that might be a threat to the convoy, Warlock would severely reduce our communications ability. That's why the spectrum managers are so important. Okay, I'm done. So these radios give you a lot of ability, and I'm not even going to get into what you can and can't do with them. Baofeng seems to be a real big name in these radios these days. You can. It is possible to get in there and mess with them a little bit on the circuitry and the programming. Some people are saying, oh, they're made in China, that means China can control everything about them. No, that is not true, because you can get in there and mess with the programming on your own. So for the price, these are good radios for short haul communications. That's all I'm going to say about that. However, just having one lets you access whatever happens to be out there. If you have a family or a group, you definitely want your own, so you can set up your own frequency network. So you need more than one to do that. Okay, sorry, that was really long, but that was my military rant. It's as bad as a medical rant, isn't it? So this would be a radio pouch, and then you could cinch this up. And now this could just carry your radio. What would be really cool is if, and I know these let you do it, is if you have a headset or a shoulder mic that comes out, so that once it's programmed in, you don't really need to change your frequencies. You can just leave this in your radio pouch and either have a headset where you got a little push to talk or it's voice activated, or you got, like, you know, you see police where they have over their shoulder, they've got the little click. Okay. Moving on. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. I really apologize. Let's see. What is this? This has a piece of paper in it. Oh, it is a compass. It is a form of a Lensatic compass, which is very good for land navigation. There's orienteering compasses, which are more geared towards laying a chart on the ground and orienting yourself to the chart and things like that. A Lensatic, you can also use with a chart. Difference between a chart and a map. A map just shows you a depiction. A chart is used for navigation, has different markings on it, in case you didn't know that. This has little conversions on it on the back. It has a level on it to make sure you're looking level. It has a bezel where you can move to orient yourself again. It's liquid filled. It's got some metal on it, which I'm assuming is aluminum, because putting steel on a compass is really stupid. And what's really cool is it has, so that while you're actually shooting your azimuth here, you're not going to be able to see it, but you can actually look in. So there's a couple different ways to use this a Lensatic compass. The US military ones don't have this eyepiece to look directly in, and it magnifies. And let's see if this is glow in the dark for a second. This looks like a glow in the dark dial, so well, that's not really helping. Let's see if this gets glowy. It is glow in the dark. It is a glow in the dark bezel. Nice. Okay. I prefer my old school military ones because, you know, I'm an old school guy, my green ones. But this is a pretty good quality one too. You can feel the action of the needle. It doesn't just wobble and spin. This is actually a good quality compass. I like this. I know I got to do a land nav video once upon a time. People have asked me to do that. And maybe I'll show how the different features on this compare to a US military GI issue one. Comes with a pouch that you can put on a belt or strap to something. I like the good old US green compass pouches that are not as good as this because they're US green military compass pouches. Okay, I took a second just to straighten up just a little bit, so we got some space to work with. Next, let's see what this guy is. Solar ports. Oh, is this what I think it is? Because if it is, this would be super convenient. Yes! All right, what was I just talking about with this guy right here? We've got solar panels. And now, is this a bank or does it just... So I guess this is not a bank. Oh, no, it is. It is. It's got a built-in... Well, it's not a very big battery. It's a built-in 1,000 milliamp hour battery. But here we go. You take this, and you take this out with you, and now you have a never-ending fire source. Pretty cool. Great thinking to put the two of these together. I love it. Okay. And of course, you can use this to charge anything you have out in the wilderness. GPS, phone, camera, anything that needs power. I don't know about this particular one. Oh, and this, so you can rig it up, hang it somewhere. I don't know how this particular one works. I don't know how good it is or not good it is or anything like that, but it's cool that they thought to include this with the plasma lighter there. And here's your USB input, well, output, I should say. Nifty. What do we got next? It says made in China. I'm just trying to figure out if it says what this is made of, because we can see black S-clip, because we can see what it is through the package. It is a little eating tool. It is steel. And I don't know if this is obviously some kind of coating. So we've got a can opener right there, not a bottle opener, can opener. And it's got a Night Eyes, or it might just be a Chinese copy of a Night Eyes. So you can clip it on there, carry it around. But it also does have a bottle opener. Awesome. Spoon, fork, spork, little knife. And so you can open your cans of stuff. You can eat. Pretty solid. Always nice to have. Not upset about this either. Okay. Moving right along. That's a Muppet song. We'll look at the Stanley, which we probably should have looked at in the first place. I believe we got this in another box of some kind, of some denomination. Maybe not. Maybe we got something similar, but I swear we did. So here's a steel cookery device, and it is annotated up to, there we go, 20 ounces over there. You can cook right on it, and it's got its little top, and then inside you have two little plastic cups. So make some coffee, make some soup, make some tea, whatever, and then it collapses up. And it all, wait, there we go. Keep it all together. Not bad. Definitely not bad. Yeah. Camping and put it in a survival kit or whatever. I could get behind it. So far, you know, not bad box, I gotta say. But it's about to get bad, because we've got this Stealth Angel kit, which, well, maybe it's different. Maybe it's different. So this is not as strong as it would appear. It squeezes, and it's not airtight. I just realized the microphone was hanging way down. I hope you were hearing me the whole time. I don't even know. But hear the air when I squeeze it. So oh, it's got more clips on the ends. Okay. Yeah, this is the exact same thing pretty much as what I looked at once upon a time. Oh, remember these? These used to be given out by everybody and their mother. These square Cree bulb flashlights. And they don't give you a battery, but it's a single AA battery. Everybody used to give these to you for free. And, you know, you can get it. I'm sure they come in bulk from China, and they'll put your brand on it. And it just, not even worth putting a battery in. Survival whistle. A little LED, and it does have a little switch to stay on. Yeah. I remember when these were cool and fancy at the PX. We used to get them in different colors. Ferro rod. It's actually a, open it up, decent sized ferro rod. Reminds me of a charging handle on an AR, but a very good grip on it here. A cheaper, much cheaper compass. See what? Notice the difference from the other one, how this needle is just wobbling and constantly moving. One of these crappy, I hate them, multi-tool cards. Not even gonna get into it. And oh, so the one I looked at had a really shitty cheap knife. Maybe we'll have looked at that link I put in there. And I swear to God, I have exactly this sitting here. Very generic, cheap from China tactical pen. Again, companies can get this and have it branded with their name on it. Aluminum tactical pen. Yeah, I'm not thrilled with this. And when I got it before, I thought it was a good you know, I bought it just to look at it, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I realized, you know, because I was used to, at that point, I was just really used to military equipment. And I didn't really know the world of civilian stuff that was available. Now I know much better. So I'm not thrilled with this. You can do much better. But, okay. I think there's just one thing left. I think there's only one thing left in this box. But this is already, I mean, overall, I think it's a pretty good box. They don't put prices on anything, so I don't know what they're charging you. Well, I'm sorry, not what they're charging you, but what they're saying it's all worth. Do we just have to cut into this? Is that it? Okay. So we got a little nylon bag, light nylon. And, oh, it's one of these. And we have seen these over and over from a few different boxes, but I'm not mad because these work. I did a test. There's another video. I can only put one of those little card things in here per video. So, you know, on my playlist of like field test, outdoors, whatever, you can actually see it work. I'm going to leave this, so when I send it to Jason, there's no reason for me to take all the plastic off. I'll let him do that when he's ready to use it. But these should be able to put it together, though. Anyway, so then you put you could put whatever. You could put a fuel cube in here, like a hexane or something. You could put just sticks, and it's actually a very useful little stove in the field. Because once again, we tested it and it works really well and it's very lightweight. It does get incredibly hot when you're using it. Don't touch it. But this is a very good, small, very useful camping stove. So I'm not mad that there's another one coming in another box, especially since it's the first time we got the box. Can't complain. Even though we've gotten these in some other boxes. It's small and it's efficient. I'm just not sure why there we go. You just got to slip it in. Some of them have like this you just have to squeeze in between the metal. There we go. And there's your surface. So we take our Stanley and put it right on there and you can cook right on the thing. I really do like these. Because I can't remember, I probably didn't until I actually tested the thing out. But just the amount of airflow that can get in there and aid in your combustion of whatever, it makes a really nice heat source, whatever you have in there. It really lets it burn with a lot of air. And especially like, you just get some small sticks in there and boom, it goes. So I'm not mad about getting another one of these at all. So overall, with the exception of this, I'm pretty happy with this as a box. Now, it being an elite box, we might expect some bigger, fancier items, but if you think about what we've got, this is a pretty nice setup for an initial... Is this in the box? No, this is model paint. This was not in the box. This just happens to be here. This is a pretty good, if you think about it, beginnings to pack up an outdoors bag. I don't know, this again, but you could charge this with your solar panel thing. But, I kind of think they should have sent 2 radios so that you can at least establish good two-way with somebody on your team, you know what I mean? Because they do have a two radio set. They'll sell you an 8 radio set, whatever. But I mean, it's still cool to have. I like it. I think this is a good first showing. Yes, we have seen some of these items in some other boxes, but remember, this is our first box from them. So, I'm excited to see what might come next. I don't see excuse me. I don't see any dumb fluff. Everything in here is something that you can actually use. And I love that, whether it was coincidence or they thought about it, they give you 2 electronic items that need to be charged, and they give you something to charge it out in the field. They don't just expect you to figure that out. High quality stuff. You know, and if you think about it, you've got that together as a package. You've got this together as a package. You've got your compass, so you can figure out where you're going. You've got, this is, you know, for some field bushcrafting, some field crafting and stuff. But you got a nice bag to put it in. It's not all random stuff either. Goes together. This goes with whatever when you're outdoors surviving. And this is a good, like I said, look up some videos on how to use this. It's a very good tool to have outdoors. I'm just, okay, this is I don't know. We're going to pretend this isn't here. But the rest of it, pretty good. I like it. I hope Jason likes it. So, guys, what do you think? What do you think of our first Survival Preppers of Colorado box? I think we've got some good stuff here. I like the logic that went into it, and I'm happy with it overall. But I want to know what you guys think, legitimately, honestly. What do you think? And tell Jason, number one, thanks, bro, for letting us look at something else. And tell him what you think of the box that's his now, you know, because this has to go back to him. Anyway, can't wait to read your thoughts on it and everything. Thanks again, Jason. You're really cool. Remember that you guys are all absolutely awesome. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll be back again real soon.